I think someone like Michigan's going to get them in the playoffs. Clemson could get them in the playoffs. Before then, LSU and Auburn will be competitive with them. And if they can, again, you can avoid the turnovers and avoid letting Alabama's defense go the other way. Alabama can be beaten. Every team can be beaten.
Yep.
It's football.
They're a college football team. Listen, a great coach, Harbaugh, or a great coach, Urban Meyer, with a month to prepare, 3 weeks to prepare, and efficient quarterback play can beat Alabama. The most remarkable thing about Alabama, though, is the number of special teams and defensive touchdowns. When I watch the SEC, increasingly I see weak quarterback play and average coaching. That's why Alabama's pulled away. Alabama would be number one in any conference, but I see a lack of diversification on the offenses in the SEC. They're mostly power, and I think it's a very average league in terms of coaching. So they've pulled away from the SEC. Harbaugh, Urban, 5 weeks to prepare, absolutely they could beat them.
I took it another step on my radio show. I said Alabama is number one. They're Seinfeld, the greatest comedy of all time. You can argue about who's second, but it's distant. There's nobody close to Alabama right now. And I like Michigan. I like Ohio State. But right now, the gap is enormous in college football.
First of all, Good Times is the greatest comedy.
I thought he was going to say Frasier or Cheers.
Good Times is the greatest comedy of all time. JJ
Cowherd,
and that family.
Tell this guy about
Here, the reality is in college football, they have elevated a lot of position coaches to coordinators and a lot of coordinators to head coaches, mostly guys who can recruit. That's why a Lane Kiffin gets a head coaching job at a traditional power, or a Will Muschamp. There's not a lot of great coaching out there. That's why Harbaugh can walk into college football and dominate. Urban went 2 years, didn't lose a conference game. Nick Saban walks into games, he's won by 2 touchdowns. Florida's got a new coach we think is good. LSU's firing theirs. Bielema's been a disaster. Georgia had to fire theirs. The SEC's coaching right now is the weakest it's ever been.
Here's what I'm going to say about coaching, and because I almost think to some degree you're going a little overboard about the hard on coaches. Because here's what I think separates Harbaugh, Urban Meyer, Nick Saban. It's the ability to handle the money and the fame. There's a lot of good coaches in college football. You make a couple $1 million a year. I saw it happen. I could get in trouble with this. Brady Hoke was a good football coach. I'm telling you.
Of course, Brady Hoke. Yeah.
The money changed. And I see a lot of coaches that can't handle the money and the attention and the fame, and it takes them off their game. Harbaugh, Urban Meyer, Nick Saban. I'm going to tell you, a coach down in the Mid-American Conference named P.J. Fleck, he's going to be a star
Western Michigan.
in college football. The force of their personalities. This P.J. Fleck has like overwhelmed Western Michigan and the whole Mid-American Conference with his over-the-top personality.
He ain't beating Alabama this year.
But again, get him in the right position and he could.
All right, moving on.